Here is another surprising treasure I found. Sometimes one finds real treasure at the end of the rainbow, and this is one of those songs. In my research for a program I did here in this room on women composers and poets in the 19th century in America, I discovered the name Effie Crockett, and she has provided us with a very lovely treasure, a beautiful song, and you all know it, or at least part of it. Surely everyone knows the old nursery rhyme, rock-a-bye baby on the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall, and down will come baby, cradle and all. It's an odd poem to comfort a child, isn't it? Well, those words apparently date back to the 1600s. The English Protestants were unhappy with King James II on the throne because he was a Catholic and he had a little baby boy, and they didn't want that little boy to be the heir to the throne. So they overthrew King James II in what was called the Glorious Revolution in the 1680s. And they replaced him with his sister Mary, who was Protestant and had married William of Orange. And they came from across the English Channel and deposed King James II. And in the run-up to this revolution, they created a campaign song to generate ill will toward the king, and they focused the song on the king's little baby. Who knew? Nobody wanted that baby to be the heir to the throne, so they made up a nursery rhyme, rock-a-bye baby. The baby is in the cradle, but the baby is in peril at the top of the tree. And the winds of Protestantism are blowing across the English Channel. And that baby and the cradle is the Catholic monarchy. It's all going to come crashing to the ground. Who knew? And they put the words to a very well-known Irish tune called Lily Bolero, rock-a-bye baby on the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall, and down will come baby, cradle and all. Well, the newspapers of the 19th century tell us that marching bands played rock-a-bye baby. And when I first found that in the newspaper and had not learned the story of the poem, I thought, how can you march to rock-a-bye baby? You might see a description of a July 4th parade where the band and the spectators marched to the big feast, the big picnic, singing and playing rock-a-bye baby. Everybody knew the words then, but like Yankee Doodle went to London riding on his pony, those words all had some specific meaning once. We sing the song now for fun, but we don't know what the words originally meant. That was the only tune for those words until 1872, when Effie Crockett got a hold of them. Effie Crockett was born in 1856 in the little town of Rockport, Maine. In 1872, 15-year-old Effie was babysitting, and she couldn't get the baby to fall asleep, so she had the idea somehow to take those words about rock-a-bye baby and write a new melody for those words. And her friends and family loved this little lullaby. She called it the lullaby. And so about 6 years later, she published it as a song. And the song is a bigger construction. It has a first part, each verse has a first part which sets the scene. And then the lullaby happens, and in the sheet music, it says the lullaby. And it's rock-a-bye baby that we know. And then there's a little refrain. There are 3 verses. And this is a lovely and complex song written by this American teenage girl in the 1870s. I just love finding out things like this. Aside from the 4 lines of old poetry that we all know, everything you hear in this song is by the teenage Effie Crockett. All the music, all the other words by the teenage Effie Crockett. Here's the original version of Rock-a-Bye Baby, published in 1879. Baby is sleeping, so cozy and fair, while mother sits near in her old oaken chair. Her foot on the rocker, the cradle she swings, and though baby slumbers, he hears what she sings. Rock-a-bye baby on the treetop, when the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, down will come baby, cradle and all. Rock-a-bye, rock-a-bye, mother is here. Rock-a-bye, rock-a-bye, nothing to fear. The angels of slumber are hovering near. So rock-a-bye, baby, mother is here. Grandma sits knitting close by the fireplace, with snowy white hair and a smile on her face. The years have gone by, yet it doesn't seem long since she sang baby's papa that same little song. Rock-a-bye, baby, on the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall. And down will come baby, cradle and all. Rock-a-bye, rock-a-bye, nothing to fear. Rock-a-bye, rock-a-bye, mother is here. The angels of slumber are hovering near. So rock-a-bye, baby, mother is here. Dear little baby, their joy and their pride, long may he be with them, whatever betide. The kitchen, the cradle, that tender old song, the memories will be with him his whole life long. Rock-a-bye, baby, on the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall. And down will come baby, cradle and all. Rock-a-bye, rock-a-bye, mother is here. Rock-a-bye, rock-a-bye, nothing to fear.